Hi everyone, it's Sal Jade and I'm coming to you here live today in our How to Be Psychic study group for August. The year's going crazy. Very excited to be here with you guys today, answering any questions you've got about your course and anything that you would like to share, anything that you're having challenges with when it comes to your psychic skills and your psychic development. I have a great lineup today of topics that we're going to explore that have been asked throughout the month. I'm very excited. I'd love to know who's here with me right now. So if you are here, please just pop your name in and I can say hello, and just so I can see who's here. And I'll just wait a minute before I start with the questions, because I know sometimes people they jump in exactly on the dot and they're worried they're going to miss out. So I'll just go through a couple of little things for us before we begin. And the first is, I'd just really like to thank, as always, all the wonderful people who have, from this group and from the course, written me reviews this week and in the past months for How to Be Psychic and my other courses. I'm really grateful for the following people who wrote some beautiful reviews this week. Thank you. It means so much to me. So Dan, Stefan, Miku, and Julie Jamison, Leanne Mauder, and Henrietta Umbergar, thank you so much. Like, your reviews, I read them this morning, they were so beautiful. And to everyone who writes reviews for How to Be Psychic, it means so much that you take that extra bit of time just to put a few comments in about what you got out of the course. It really means a lot to me, and it's really helpful to any other students who think this course might be helping them. So thank you for that. I'm also going to wish you a big happy full moon, because it is, for my wonderful, beautiful friends in the States and Canada and in Europe right now, it is the big empathic full moon that we're coming into. And here in Australia and in India, like all around the world, we're in this incredible period of the empathic Aquarius full moon. This means we're all going to be a little bit more sensitive and intuitive, and that's a good thing. Like, I don't know how it's been for many of you, but the last month has been a little bit of a school of hard knocks. It hasn't been the nicest moon in the way that things were a little bit intense and some really old chaos kind of came up. And this seems and feels, and I've been reading a lot through people on Facebook and people who actually know a lot more about this stuff than I do, that we're coming into a much more feeling of intuitive empowerment and spiritual empowerment, and an end to the really hard spiritual growth for now. So that's really exciting. Good evening, Monica. Lovely to see you. Hi, Jennifer. Lovely to see you. Welcome, guys. And as I said, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover the following topics. And if you have any questions for me and you're here live, then just pop that question in. And if you're here and you're not here live, just pop in replay just so I can go back in after the live presentation and check your questions and answer them for you. And now, just another quick thing before I begin. If anybody knows of, or if you're listening to this right now, Camille Harrison, could you please reach out to me at sal@saljade.com. So anyone who's either done a reading for Camille or knows Camille in this group, could you please give me just a little bell on sal@saljade.com. I've just had a family member contact me who's a bit worried because they haven't heard from her for a while. So I just wanted to just check in and just see that she's okay. So if any of you are in connection with Camille, can you please just let me know? Or Camille, if you're watching this, can you please reach out to me at sal@saljade.com. Thank you. Okay, so now our 5 big questions we've got today, and as I said, feel free to add your own. We're going to cover how to avoid getting tired after doing readings. That's a huge thing. And how to avoid getting headaches, and how to feel like there's too much pressure on you, and any kind of physical symptoms that you might be feeling after doing readings or doing too many readings. So I'm going to explore some tips and techniques for that for you. We're also going to look at how to do, so in our How to Be Psychic course, for those of you who have completed the course or quite a lengthy way through it, there is a guided meditation on how to see guides and angels on someone else. And Nitu asked me the question about how can I keep this a bit simpler for a beginner level, because it does take about 20 minutes to do. And obviously if you're doing it in a reading situation, you might want to do it a bit quicker. So I'm going to give you some tips and strategies on that as well. Also, we've got a question about activating the third eye and some best techniques about how to activate it. We also have a question on repeated numbers and what they mean, and also how to actually physically set up your reading space with incense and candles so that you can get the best possible reading. So I'm going to cover that as well. And oh, Tracy, I'm so happy about the full moon. I need a break from all the knocks. Yes. So glad to catch you live. Awesome. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Hello, beautiful Misty. How are you? Wonderful. Thank you, Tracy, Jennifer, Monica, and everyone else that's here live. Okay, so as I said, pop your questions in along the way and I'll get to them. If I don't see it because it goes too fast, just add it again if you see that I haven't noticed it. But I'll go through them when I finished all these topics that I've just talked about. So we're going to start with Lucille asks how, and also Adva asks, how to avoid becoming tired or getting headaches after readings. That's such a great question. So the first thing I would suggest that, especially at this beginner level, you want to make sure you're not doing too many readings. I know I've mentioned this before, but when we get started, we get so excited, and obviously when you're in these groups and you're practicing, and especially if you're really wanting and you're passionate about starting a psychic career, you can tend to like do lots and lots and lots of readings just to sort of get your beautiful energy out there, because you feel like, oh my God, I did a great reading and now I want to do another one, and then I want to do another one, and you get so addicted and it's so exciting. And that's a big sign that, you know, your angels and guides are opening you up so that you can follow this path, and even if it's just for your own personal spiritual guidance. So it's a really, really good sign. However, I always say, like, the soul can only handle so much opening up at a time. So do make sure first and foremost that you're not doing too many readings. Like, and you might say to me, well, what's too many readings? Like, I would limit it to, in the beginning, to no more than 10 a week. Like, that's a real, because it's a lot of energy to be plunging into, and as you get more experience, then more. In this kind of group, those of you who are building up your confidence, like I would, and you post an offer, I would do no more than 3 at a time. Like, just get really comfortable with opening up your beautiful gifts. Get really comfortable with it, and then, you know, as I said, try to start to do more and more. So that would be the first thing I would say. The second thing is, please make sure you're taking time out. So I go into this a lot in the Master Health Readings and Psychic Wellness course. So that course is about doing health readings by your clients and yourself, but it's also about how to nurture yourself as a psychic, like doing psychic readings, how to look after yourself. And that's on Udemy. So if you want to go more into that, if you're considering professional psychic readings, I would definitely look at that. But just briefly, making sure that you take time out and don't look at your Facebook screen, don't watch TV, try to go outside, try to do something that's a lot more nurturing and a bit more grounded. Even if you're sketching in a pad or reading a book or doing something that's not going to activate your third eye so much, like just something that's a little bit more gentle. So maybe don't go read a spiritual book. Don't go read, you know, something that's going to make your little third eye get even more excited. Just go and do something like read a fantasy book, or, you know, read just a general fiction or something, or just, you know, something that's very chilled out and it's nothing to do with reading. Okay, so you've really got to have that boundary of just being able to come back into your body, really. So body stuff, exercise is fantastic. Anything where you're just not in that third eye realm for a while will help a lot. And I know the question about headaches, drink so much water. I can't say that enough. Like, I would generally, on an average, like doing readings day, drink 3 to 4 liters of water. Like, I drink a lot of water, at least 2 cups before I start. I afterwards drink at least a glass of water, and then if I'm outside, I'm drinking more. So, you know, water just helps so much. The hydration helps your energy. It helps you it stops getting headaches as well. It stops that kind of pressure on your head. Also, what I noticed when I was doing a lot of readings in the shop many years ago was, you know, one after the other, with not much time in between. I would actually take myself outside for a little walk, and I would just clap 3 times in front of my third eye and stomp on the ground, and again, ask your angels. So just do anything you can to kind of get yourself out of that realm, and you'll find that improves. But also know that you are uniquely different. Like, for you, maybe only 3 or 4 readings a week's a good thing, maybe 10, you know, like just to know your own boundaries. Like, for me right now, as many of you know, I'm having a break this year from readings, because my teaching schedule is quite hectic, but also I'm just giving my third eye in that way of connecting with higher beings constantly for my clients. I'm just giving that a rest. So it's been 11 years for me, and I just feel like it needs a little bit of time out. So for you at this beginner level, allow yourself that space and time out as well, and that can take the pressure off, definitely. So I hope that's helped. And second third, it's probably third, not even second. Just make sure you're not picking up any entities or energy of anyone else. That's really important. Ask your angels to give you 100, 1,000, 1 gazillion million % protection, and shield yourself while you're doing the readings, and that will really help as well. That real advanced level of just being really grounded, but also making sure you've got lots of barriers and boundaries of love and consciousness, and as well as obviously protection around you. So I hope that's helped, my love. Oh, a couple more comments. Eddie, thanks for my Udemy classes. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you. Hi, Mary. Hi, Martha. Is it true that a person who has been sick for many years, her soul is half in this world and the other in the spiritual world? That is an amazing question. I haven't been asked that before, but I do know a good answer to it. Martha, I will answer that at the end. So let me just jot it down so I actually do. Definitely, that's a great question. Martha. So, okay. Awesome. Thank you for asking such an insightful question. I love it. Okay. So, my second topic today I'm going to look at is Gamosaurus. Please forgive me if I'm saying that wrong. My pronunciations are generally terrible, and my apologies for that. Asks about the third eye, and, you know, he's been doing a bit of research about the third eye, and, you know, is it a good thing to activate it? And, you know, I'm not sure if it's a he or she, I'm so sorry because I couldn't see a picture, is not sure if it's going to put pressure, like had experiencing with pressure around the head. Now, that's very common, so don't worry about that. It's really common as you're opening up your psychic gifts to get pressure around your third eye, around your head, around your neck. I get a lot of tingly bingly bits around my third eye when I've really nailed something in a reading, and it's almost like, it's like, whoa. Or even in conversation sometimes. So I might be talking to someone about something and I get this little fuzzy whoa, and I go, oh, okay, that's an extra special confirmation from my guides that yes, yes, yes kind of thing. So now, what I'll say about the third eye and activation, and I know different instructors will feel very differently, different teachers will feel very differently about this. For me, try not to overcomplicate this stuff too much. I think one of the biggest hindrances to studying, understanding our spiritual development and our chakras, and is that we tend to overanalyze, and everything has to be perfect and it has to be how it's said in the book. My activation of my own third eye was an incredibly natural and organic process. It just happened. Like, it wasn't, I didn't go off and study a master who told me how to do it. It just opened up, and I felt it with those physical symptoms. There's some very specific rituals and activations I know through, I think, Reiki and other things like attunements that you can get your third eye activated. I suggest doing that if you're interested in it. It's not something I've ever done. So for me, I just ask my guides and angels to work on it. I visualize it being cleared, especially before readings. Now, what I will say is I have a little bit of what you would, I guess, in computer terminology called a sleep mode on my third eye. And that is, I ask my guides and angels, particularly Archangel Raziel, who's one of my big, huge guides that works with me in readings. I ask him to just pause, or, you know, put it down into just basic, what I would call survival mode, basic intuitive day-to-day needs in my everyday life, but to heighten it and open it and activate it more when I'm doing readings and healings. That way I'm not walking around in public and getting onslaughted by picking up everything here, there and everywhere, which can happen if you're activating it all the time and constantly. Like, you want to also focus on other areas of your chakras, I might add. So sometimes going back into the grounding base chakra and the sacral chakra with the creativity can help, or, you know, sitting in your heart chakra. I often find what happens if I'm spending too much time in my third eye is that I start going a little bit in my heady and scattered. So to counteract that, keep some focus on the lower chakras as well. So you've got that balance. But yeah, like, as I know there are very specific activation of third eye rituals that work for some people. And if you're drawn to that, please, by all means, do it. It's not something I've ever done. I've just done it very naturally myself. And as I said, I asked them to kind of shut it off. I also, when I notice that I'm walking down the street and I'm feeling a lot more and I'm empathic, and I then say to my guides, hey, look, sleep mode, please. Just give me a break right now. I'm vulnerable, or I'm tired, I'm sensitive. It's not the right time for me to be picking up information on other people or situations. Just give me what I absolutely need today, to get through today, like that day by day thing. So I hope that's helped, my love. I hope that's given you a bit more insight about the activation. I think it's a good idea to activate it, definitely, because you want to be as much as possible connecting, but just, you know, have some boundaries on it and have some rituals that you do to make sure that you're putting it in sleep mode. Okay, so I hope that has helped. Hello, Jamie. Donya, Nadine, Gaia, Nitu. Hello, Nitu. I'm going to be answering your question. So welcome again, everybody. So I hope that's helped, my love. And the next question is from Agnesika. I hope I'm pronouncing you right. I'm so sorry if I'm not. And she asked the question about repeated numbers. And I love talking about repeated numbers. Now, there is obviously numerology that many of us know about. And there's also the phenomena of repeated numbers. So it's when you start seeing lots of numbers like 1111 or 1515, and you're seeing them repeatedly. And so she asks, you know, what does it mean? Is there an intuitive thing behind it? She feels intuitively that she's impacted upon by numbers. So yes, numbers are incredibly powerful because they are like the universal language. And when you see like 1111, for example, that's a big sign that you're having a spiritual awakening. 11 in numerology is a master number, but for me, 1111 is a big sign empathically that I'm connecting a lot more, especially with ascended masters. I'm opening up on a bigger level. It's also a great manifestation number, so you could be awakening around your manifestations. So if you're seeing it a lot now, in particular, because we are in this Aquarius empathic full moon period, it's a very good sign that you're opening up and awakening. But what I tend to find and there's other numbers too, like, you know, 444, which is the angels. There's, you know, lots and lots of different numbers. You can look this stuff up on Google if you want to go further, and I know there are books around it. But for me, it's such an interesting thing because people are like, well, I'm seeing these numbers again and again and again. And I would say when the intuitive little buzz inside you goes, bing, oh, there's that number. It just means it's time to listen to that number or notice or know more about that number, because you're probably seeing it regularly but not actually consciously acknowledging it, if that makes sense. So it's a little bit like, to go off track here a little bit, it's a little bit like when you are moving house and you need boxes and suddenly you see boxes everywhere, or you're buying a new car and suddenly you see cars for sale everywhere. So it's almost like suddenly noticing those numbers means that your angels and that are going, come on, wake up, wake up, wake up. It's time to pay attention. So yes, I definitely look into researching what they mean, but I know that 1111 is like a time of huge spiritual awakening, and it's a time where you're opening up in a very good level. You know, it's definitely nothing bad. And anything with a 1 in it, as those of you who have studied tarot with me know, that, you know, the 1 is always, it's new beginnings. It's the beginning of something new. You're going on a new path, and it's usually a very positive thing. So I hope that's helped, lovely. Okay, what are we up to? Oh, so I didn't put the name, but I'm thinking it's Jennifer. Jennifer, I'm hoping it's you, because I think you're actually here today, asking the question about how to set up your table with crystals and incense and candles. So I do go into this in a much more in-depth way about, especially if you're doing online readings in my 10-week advanced tarot program, but I'll show you just how I do it. I'm not going to show you with my desk because it's not set up now. So for me, it's a very intuitive process. No one ever told me how to set my table up. It was always just for me. I'd sit there. I do think you do need a special cloth. That's very important, because that sort of signalizes that this is just for readings. Okay, it's not for me putting my books on or, you know, putting my dishes on. It's my special reading cloth. You can get some very affordable ones even for, like, you know, $10 on eBay, but I do think you definitely need a special cloth. And something for me with the crystals is I always have something protective. So my baby, this is my black tourmaline, always have at least one protective crystal on the table with me at all times. I also always have some kind of love crystal. So whether it be I've got a beautiful rose quartz ball that some of my very first students gave me when I ran my very first workshops like 10 years ago in Manly. And that to me is my kind of love representation. So you could have a little rose quartz or a rhodochrosite or some other love crystal, just because it helps me stay in that space of love. So I have them next to my cards. I often put them on top of my cards before I actually begin. and then the client comes and I take them all off, or before the client comes and I start doing my pre-rituals. And then I just set up the candles, so obviously they're not going to set my house on fire. And same with the incense. And I just try to make it a little bit artistic and play with it a little bit, you know, like, again, there's no right or wrong, whatever feels right to you. And then you have your cards. Like, it always, if someone's coming to your house, or, you know, or coming to a clinic that you're in, or a place, it always looks nice just to have, you know, a couple of crystals, you know, a deck of cards and a candle lit. You know, it's something that aesthetically is quite beautiful and sets the scene. And so that's why I do that, even if I'm doing an online or a distance reading. I actually have it all set up for me, just so that I am communicating and connecting with spirit and the guides, that this is what I'm doing now. I want spiritual information for my reading, and the soul heart part of it goes into that kind of artistic presentation. But as I said, look, there's no right or wrong. I am certainly no interior designer, as my husband will verify. I've got no ideas about design, but I just set it up so that it looks kind of pretty to me, I guess, is the best way. So just try that and see how you go, my love. Okay. Now, Nitu, she says that channeling for others. So as I said, in the guided meditation that we have in How to Be Psychic, I go into how I read for others. And what you do in that meditation is you have a process of about 20 minutes of tuning in, looking behind someone's shoulder and then the other shoulder, and asking guides to come through and come forth and give information that can help them. So I call upon their guides. Okay, so that's not me calling my guides. That's me saying, who's with them? What do they need to know? Now, you can do this in a much shorter way, because as you're right, as a beginner in a reading, it's a lot more of a laborious process. And also keep in mind, if I've only got someone with me for, you know, half an hour or 45 minutes, I don't have 20 minutes to go in and tune in. So you can simplify it a bit. So what I suggest you do, there's a PDF that comes with this particular meditation. Print it out and just learn the very foundation basics. So what I mean by that is, you know, basically what it's like to go and connect, the beginning part, then being able to just walk along, and also then being able to just visualize that you're focusing on their shoulders, and then spend a couple of minutes, no more, and then go to the other side of the shoulder. And if you want to shorten it even more, just do one shoulder and just be like, just like what's behind their head, and just being like, okay, I'm just going to bring in one guide and just see. Now I use this, it's incredibly powerful for being able to just get a bit more information before I start reading cards, because sometimes people like a bit of that channeling. They like a bit of that information, and the cards kind of verify it, if that makes sense. It also is a process I use because it means that I've got more additional information. So as those of you probably know, sometimes you can be doing a reading that's quite complex, and it's like the cards are like, okay, they're not revealing everything. So I might go up and just go, okay, I'm just going to tune in a little bit, and I'm going to go in behind your shoulder, and I'm just going to see who's coming through. And I actually ask them, I say, please, her guides and angels, or his guides and angels, come through and share with me what I need to share with them. Like, what do they most need to know right now? And I do that process as well. So that, I hope that helps, Nitu. So just don't feel like you've got to do the whole big 20-minute thing. Go through the PDF and print it out and learn the very basics. Like, you know, make it a 5-step bullet point process kind of thing, and practice it like that. Okay, my loves. Now, Jennifer, yes, hello. Okay, so Martha, I'm going to answer your first question, and then I'm going to answer this question you've asked now. What is the best and fastest way to open your third eye? Great question. Okay, so very, very first one that you asked, Martha, I've got to scroll back. Sorry, here we go. Is it true that a person who has been sick for many years has their soul in half this world and half in the spiritual realm? That's such a beautiful question, and it brings to mind for me the book I read many years ago when I first got in touch with my intuitive gifts while I was traveling, and I was looking at lucid dreaming, and that's the book by Robert Moss called Conscious Dreaming, which I highly suggest you read. It was my very first strong psychic experience, besides my earlier teen experiences where people passed away and I dreamt it. those experiences where I would actually share dreams with people that I was traveling with, and they would come to me in my dreams, and they'd actually come to my door in real life, and it was all very profound. But he had that experience where he was kind of in the shamanic world. He was sick a lot as a child, and he was really in and out, really. So yes, I think when you are experiencing moments of, if you're someone who has been ill and you've been ill in a long term, then yes, you can very much be in the spiritual world, because the physical body is struggling to sustain and ground itself here on earth. So yeah, that's, the soul can definitely be kind of, I guess, half out, I guess, because it's the immense pain of being in the physical body can be quite draining. Or if, like in the case of Robert Moss, it's that being day-to-day bedridden, you're off in that spiritual realm, basically. So yes, it's a really interesting question about the soul not quite being here, that the soul is processing something else, and illness, obviously from an incarnation level, like why we experience illness, that can be definitely what is going on in the spiritual realm for that person, which is why they can be there as well. So I hope that's helped, my love. Now your second question. What's the best and fastest way to open your third eye? I know this sounds funny, but I ask my angels. I say, angels, open it up. I work with Raziel to clear out anything that's blocking it. I do a lot of, I work with crystals, I work with clear quartz, I work with azurite and malachite, and I do figure eights around them to draw it out. And meditation. I mean, meditation is a priceless tool to open up your third eye, because it really stills the other part of the consciousness and it allows the inner wisdom to come through. So those three things I would definitely look at, and don't feel like, as I said, you have to rush it. Do it as a gentle process. It's not something that needs to be mastered overnight, like trying to learn how to do Excel in 24 hours or something. It's something that's a gentle process. Feel, really, really encouraged to just open yourself up bits at a time. And like I said, I just work with my angels and I ask them. I say, please open. And I visualize them actually opening it up and connecting it to the higher realms. So visualization's also an amazing additional tool as well to clear that out. So that can also help a lot. Neato, I hope that helps, Martha. Neato, you'll check the PDF. Awesome. Thank you. Now I'm just going to check if anyone else has got questions that I've missed, because that sometimes happens. No? Okay. Wonderful. Now, if you have any questions, please pop them in now. And before I go, just a couple of things. Thank you. So I hope you've all learned something really valuable today. And if you have, just let me know. And as I said, if there's anything else you want me to share with you, please let me know. I'm here for you. I had to say something else. Oh, just a quick reminder. People posting in our beautiful group. I just read a post today where someone said that they hadn't got, they'd agreed to do readings in exchange for Facebook testimonials, and please get back to people on that. I know we're all very busy, but just even if you just reach out to them and just say, look, I'm going to be a few more days or something, just to let people know, just some common courtesy and loving support. If someone's offered you a reading, to make sure that you are reciprocating in kind. As have you agreed to? If you know you're busy and you don't have time to do reviews for people, then please don't accept free readings. Like, that's my best advice. Like, that's just the best thing to go about it, because you just want to make sure you're honoring what you said to that person, that you'll do that. Second thing, just for those of you who are new, just a quick reminder, please don't post in this group any requests for free readings. Like, I've noticed a couple later saying, oh, if anyone wants to practice on me, I'm available if you want to practice on me. We don't do that in this group. There's plenty of free reading groups on Facebook that will do that, but you can offer an exchange. Or if somebody says, I want to practice on someone, then please, by all means, then reach out to them and PM them. So, just to let you know, as opposed to requesting a free reading or a free healing about, anything where you're asking for free psychic information or like healing information, please avoid that, because we really want this to be your beautiful study group. Okay, and one more quick thing before I go. Again, Camilla Harris, if you are listening to this, or if anyone here has had a reading with Camille or knows her or is connected to her on Facebook or in any way, can you please email me at sal@saljade.com? That would be really, really helpful. I've just had a family member reach out to me because I haven't heard from them for a while. So that would be really, really helpful if she's a bit worried about her. So if you're watching this, Camille, or if anyone has had contact with Camille since the 31st of May, could you please reach out to me as soon as possible at sal@saljade.com. Thank you, Angela. I'm yet to practice due to this too, Jennifer. Oh, what's that? Oh, setting it all up. Yeah, look, don't, as I said, don't overthink it. Just, even if you've just got your cards and one candle burning, that's totally fine. Like, don't feel like it has to be a perfect ritual and a perfect table before you begin. Tracy, that was awesome. Love connecting. Oh, thank you. Thank you. It makes me one of the top instructors. Thank you so much, Tracy. You are gorgeous. So thank you, everyone. Oh, you love my live post. Thank you, Marianne. You are gorgeous. Thanks so much. Oh, Jennifer, thank you. I'm glad I caught this question. How do you get over the fear of being wrong during a reading for others? I've yet to practice a reading for anyone with angels or cards in fears of being way off. Look, it's a very natural, normal question. The first thing is to know that everybody who is reading gets nervous. I get nervous after 11 years sometimes. Tapping is something I do all the time. I do this tapping. So if you haven't done my Boost Your EFT, Boost Your EFT with Boost Your Psychic Gifts, with EFT tapping. I'm moving house right now. My mind is not 100% always here when I'm moving house. Boost Your Psychic Gifts with EFT tapping. If you haven't done that yet, that can help with the nerves. But do know that it's very, very normal. Like, it's very normal to get nervous. Also accept that you might occasionally get it wrong. It's okay. Tell every person that you're reading for that you are a beginner. People tend to be much kinder to you if you say, look, I'm just starting. I just want to try this. I'm excited. I'm a little nervous. People will be very gentle with you if they know that up front. I think people are usually the harshest if you try to come off like you are a well-known or well psychic, and then they're going to expect you to be 100% perfect. So, yeah, tap. Be very kind to yourself, practice, and know that, sometimes we do get it wrong, and sometimes we get it wrong because people are asking the wrong questions. So don't always feel like it's you. It might be, yes, you've made a mistake. We do as psychics. We don't always get it right. And, just be really, really gentle with yourself. I watched a little clip the other day. I hope this will give you some inspiration, of Pavarotti. And as most of you know, one of the most brilliant opera singers in the world. And it's a documentary about him. And he was saying, I still get nervous before every single performance. Now, he is one of the most brilliant opera singers in the world, and he still got nervous every time before he went on stage. So please, the nerves are very natural. It's just about managing them and being confident. I always say to my angels, whatever comes through for this person's going to help them on their best and highest good, whether it's now, whether it's in a year, and I'm just going to do the best I can to serve. And if you keep that intention, and keep it away from ego, like, what if they judge me, or what if they think I'm bad, or what if I mess up, and I have to be perfect, then you'll have a much better reading. And again, that's actually a nice connection to what I spoke about earlier about having some kind of love crystal, like, and touching it before you begin and coming from a space of love. For me, in my years of reading, coming from a space of love has actually what I feel has helped me the most, because it's me going, here I am, guides and angels. I'm going to work and do the best I can to come from love to help this person. And so try that before every reading, just sitting there with your beautiful little rose quartz or whatever crystal and just being in that space. Okay, very helpful. Thank you. I hope that helped, my love. Thank you, Jennifer. Oh, Angela, sorry, that's what you've yet to practice too, because you're worried about getting it wrong. Okay, sorry, you weren't saying you're worried about not having a good table. My apologies. Yes, another question. I do definitely have time. Yes, go for it, Martha. Best time to ask me. Oh, thank you, Lynn. Okay, now, Martha, just send yourself angels, my love. Like, you say to your angels, I need you with me now. Okay, so just ask them to be with you. Definitely we'll all send out some loving prayers. The nightmares, yep, just as I said, we've actually come out of a really difficult time chaotically, spiritually in the last, few weeks or so. I know my own personal life, things got turned upside down quite quickly in a very unexpected way. And, so the nightmares in those kind of scenarios are quite common. So just ask your angels to be with you. Ask them every night before you go to sleep to help protect you against the nightmares. And everyone can send you lots of healing and lots of love. Thank you again, Jennifer. Okay, thank you so much, guys. I hope that's helped, Martha. So just sending, as I said, ask the angels to give you that every night before you go to sleep. Okay, my loves, I will, and as I said, if you're on the replay now, if you're not here live, then just put hashtag replay and put your question, and I'll jump back in the next few days and answer it for you. So thank you again, and again, thank you to everyone who's written the lovely reviews they've written and for supporting me in How to Be Psychic. And I look forward to seeing you in, let's see, October. That's when I'll do the next one for here. Those of you who are in Tarot Card Success, in our tarot course that goes with that one, I'll be doing another Facebook Live in there next month for September. So if you are in there, I'll see you there live again. And again, thanks everyone so much for joining me. Have the most amazing full moon, and take some time to be with your angels and your beautiful guides and your heart. Take some time to be with your heart. It's a good heart time. Bye.